Hello everybody and welcome to this instruction video. In this video we'll be doing part 7 of the crochet along around the bases designed by ChiChi Allen. We're doing these rounds here, the light color, the purple and the dark purple, which will be making cable stitches. I'll be using a 3.5mm E-size crochet hook, and the yarn I'm using is Scheepjes Linen Soft yarn. I also have a color code in the bottom of this video. The original pattern you can find online on ChiChi's blog. I also post a link to the description where you can find the original pattern. Well, let's get started. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope this is a useful video for you. Row 27. This row we're again going to be making back post single crochets. I'm going to start in any chain 2 or corner space from the previous round with a standing single crochet, chain 2, and make a second single crochet in that same space. Yes, like so. And now we're again going to be making back post single crochets around each and every stitch on this edge. And especially that first one is of course always just a little tricky, so make sure that you really find this first one around the post of that stitch. Make a single crochet, like so. And then the second stitch, oh wait, I have my yarn all on the wrong side here. There we go. And 2. So you're going to continue like this around the posts of the single crochets, just like you've done on the previous round. Work a back post single crochet, and then when you get to the corner you work a I'm really struggling here. There we go. You work, when you get to the corner, you work a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet, and go all the way around. So with all these back posts, and when you get to the beginning, you close with a slip stitch in that first standing single crochet. And I'm not going to cut off my yarn because the next round I'm also going to be using the color that I'm using now. This is of course your own choice which color combinations you use, but I'm going to use the same color for the round of single crochets as I'm going to use for the cable stitch, which we're going to be doing just in the next round. So continue like this, work all those back post single crochets, go all the way around, close with a slip stitch, and then I'll see you for the cables. Row 28. So in this row we're going to be making cables. I'm still going to use the same color yarn. I'm currently positioned in the last, or this first single crochet, in which we made a slip stitch from the last round. I'm going to make a second slip stitch into the chain 2 corner space, like so. Now I'm ready to start the round. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet, so slightly up. Turn around, pick up that loop and pull them all through. It's my first double crochet. Then I do a second double crochet also in the chain 2 space. Chain 2, so that's your new corner space there, and then 2 more double crochets. So your corner stitch is 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So that's your corner space there. Now we're ready to start the first cables. Now what you're going to do is we're going to be working in sets of 4 stitches. We're going to skip the first stitch, then we're going to work 3 double crochets, and then we're going to come back to that first stitch. So just check exactly which stitch you're going to skip. It's going to be this stitch here. You can see it's slightly hidden by your corner, so make sure that you know this is your first stitch and not this one here, because that's actually your second. So that's your first stitch. So you're going to skip that stitch and then into your second stitch, which is going to be the first back post stitch from the previous round. Enter into that stitch and work a double crochet. That's one, and also do so on the second stitch, 2, and on the third. So you're now working 3 double crochets. See there, 3 double crochets. And now we're going to go back to this first stitch and we're going to make a long double crochet around it from this position to where we are now. So yarn over, and I'm going to enter from the front into that first stitch and into the back, pick up your loop. I'll show you a few more times, but you know what I'm doing. And now I'm pulling my yarn up. See how I'm bringing this yarn to my current position. So it gives you this big loop here. And then work a double crochet. So there's take off 2 loops and then take off 2 loops again. And that's your cable stitch. And this we're going to repeat until we get to the other side. So I'll show you a few more times. Skip the first stitch. That's this stitch here. You're going to skip that stitch, and on the next stitch work 1 double crochet, then work a second and a third double crochet. So if you work 3 double crochets, you can see there's a hole from the stitch that you just skipped. Now we're going to go back to that stitch that we skipped. Just so you see how I'm slightly turning my hook. Then you see I have it here through the stitch. You can see there I have it through the stitch. And from the back, pick up your loop and bring this to the front. And then you bring this yarn up to the level where you're currently working, so then making this very long thread here. And then work a double crochet, so that means take off 2 loops, and again yarn over and take off 2 loops. And that's a second cable worked. And you're going to continue like this until the other side, basically. So skip the first stitch, then work 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then go back to that first stitch. Make sure that you see exactly where it is. Right, there it is. Just pick up your yarn, bring up to where you are at the moment, and work a double crochet like normal. So now work 3 cables. Continue like this, and then I'll show you how to go around the corner. So just to take you around the corner, I've done 1 cable, and before you get to the corner you should have 4 stitches left for your which is of course for your last cable. So I'm going to skip this stitch here, and on the next 3 stitches work a cable. That's 1, 2, yes, there we go, and 3. There's 3 double crochets, and now we're going to go back and work a long double crochet. So I'm going to go back to the stitch that I skipped, which is that stitch there. Back into that stitch, pick up the yarn, bring up your loop, so we need to give yourself some room, and then take off 2 loops and take off 2 loops. Now you're ready for the corner. Just slightly going to turn everything a little bit. and in the corner you work 2 double crochets, so in that corner space. So 1, yes, oops, yes, I have my yarn again, yes, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 1, 2, and 2 more double crochets, all in that same chain 2 space. And that's your new corner. And now you're going to do exactly the same as you did on the first edge. You're now going to do on your second edge. Just turn everything again a little bit. I'll just show you the first repeat for the cable stitch, and then you can go all the way around. I'm going to skip this stitch. This is the first stitch. And then on the second stitch, I'm going to work 3 double crochets, so that's on 3 stitches, so that's 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to come back to this first stitch that I skipped, and especially now make sure your corner doesn't accidentally fall over that stitch. And now I'm actually having trouble seeing where it is. There it is. Yes, so into that first stitch, bring up your loop, and take off once and take off twice. And there you go, you've made that first cable. So you're going to continue like this on your entire edge. Do your corner 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then close with a slip stitch in that first standing double crochet. So you've gone all the way around. Just to show you the end, cut off your yarn, and then we're going to close with a slip stitch in this first standing double crochet, and therefore you just have to find those 2 top loops, and usually you have to find them one by one, because that second one especially, there we go. So those are the 2 top loops on that standing double crochet, and then pull through with a slip stitch, and then you're done. And I'm going to use a different color for the next round, so I'm just going to tie this off. And then you're done on your first set of cables, and we're going to be making 2 more rounds of these. Round 29. This round I have a new color yarn on my hook, so we're going to start a base for a new set of cables. I'm going to start in any chain 2 corner space and start with a standing single crochet. If you're using the same color, slip stitch into the corner and then make a single crochet. Make a second, so that's 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 more single crochets. 1 and 2. That's your new corner made. And now you're ready to start working a single crochet on each and every stitch. Especially this first stitch, make sure you don't accidentally skip it. See, there's your first stitch, it's really covered by your corner stitches. So that's your first stitch. So 1, 2. Continue like this until you get to the other side. Work a single crochet on each and every stitch. And when you get to the corner, work 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 single crochets. And when you get to the beginning, close with a slip stitch in that first single crochet. I am then not going to cut off my yarn because I'm going to be using the same color for the next round. But that's of course completely up to you. If you want to use a different color, by all means, it's your blanket. So continue like this, and then I'll see you for the next round. Row 30. In this row we're again going to be making cable stitches. I'm now in the first single crochet from the previous round. I'm going to make 2 slip stitches into the next stitch and into the chain 2 corner space, because I want to use the same color for both rounds, and then into the chain 2 corner space, like so. Now I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. Just slightly open up. You have to kind of eyeball your height here. Pick up that loop and pull through. 1 double crochet, chain 3, and the second double crochet in the same corner space, like so. Now you're ready to start your next set of cables. So we're going to skip again the first stitch, that's that stitch there, and then work 3 double crochets and then come back to the first stitch. So skipping 1 stitch, so that's that stitch, and the next stitch work a double crochet. That's 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and I'm going to come back and work a long double crochet in that first stitch that we skipped. So yarn over and kind of coming back into that first stitch, and especially that first one can be a little tricky sometimes because it can be hard to see. Then bring up to your working height and then work a double crochet, so take off 2 loops 2 times. That's your first cable stitch made, and you're again going to do this all the way till you get to the other side. So again, skipping the first stitch, and then work 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and now come back through the first stitch. Pick up your yarn from the back and then bring it to the front, open up your loop, and then work that double crochet. So take off 2 loops and take off 2 loops. Those are 2 cables made. Continue like this, work all your cables till you get to the other side, and then make a double crochet, chain 3 double crochet in your corner space, and continue with your next cables. Go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in that first standing double crochet, or if you chose to make a chain 3, which is of course also perfect, in your first chain 3. Row 31. This is again a base row for another round of cables. Start in any corner space. I have a new color yarn, so I'm going to start with a standing single crochet, chain 2, and then a second single crochet. That's your corner stitch made. And now you're going to make a single crochet on each and every stitch. So especially the first one, make sure to get that one correct. So that's on each and every stitch you're going to work a single crochet. When you get to the corner, work a single crochet, chain 2, and another single crochet. Go all the way around and close with a slip stitch in your first single crochet over here. So continue like that, go all the way around. Round 32. In this round we're again going to be making cables similar to what we've done before, just starting ever so slightly different. Again, on this last single crochet from the last round, and I'm going to move with a slip stitch into the corner space. Here I'm going to start with a standing double crochet, but if you prefer you can of course also make a chain 3 here. That's completely up to you. Single double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you're making chain stitches you'll be making 6 in total here, and a second double crochet in the corner. That's your corner stitch made. Now we're going to start on the first edge, and we're going to start with making 2 double crochets on the first 2 stitches. So we're only going to start the cable on stitch 3. these first two, make 2 double crochets. That is 1 and 2. And now we're ready to start the cables, and we're going to do exactly the same as we've done all the previous rounds. So we're going to skip the first stitch and then work 3 double crochets in stitches 2, 3 and 4, because cable stitches we make over 4 stitches. So that's the second double crochet and the third, like so. And now we're going to go back on that first stitch and work a double crochet in that first stitch. Pick up the loop. Oh, there I lost it. Do it again. Pick up the loop, bring it up to your working position and make the double crochet, like so. You're going to continue like this, making cables, so skipping the first stitch until you get to the other side, and then I'll show you how to go around the corner, because you are also going to be making 2 double crochets before the corner and a cable, and finish off with the double crochet, like so. So continue like this, and I'll see you just to show you how to go around the corner. So I'm almost to the corner. I've just made the last cable above the cable from the previous round, and now you should have 2 stitches left before you get to the corner. And on those 2 stitches, you see these 2, you're going to work 2 double crochets, so 1 in each stitch, like so. Then you're ready for the corner. So in the chain space you have here, work a double crochet, chain 3, and then a second double crochet in that same space. And then you're, yes, there we go. And then you're at your same point here where you were at the beginning of this first side. You're going to start with 2 double crochets and then make your first cable. Go like this all the way around and close with a slip stitch in that first either standing double crochet or chain 3. And when you've completed all your cable stitches, this is the end result for week 7. And note on your stitch counts, you've added 16 stitches with respect to part 6, so you've added 16 over the last 6 rounds. So check that you still have your correct stitch count. And that brings us to the end of week 7. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.